More news in the saga around Daniel Ricciardo. Racingsnews has been informed by reliable Australian sources that Ricciardo is willing to talk to leave McLaren at the end of next year. This is a key turning point as Ricciardo holds a watertight contract that makes it very difficult for McLaren to get rid of him next year. In a recent interview with Racer.com about his current situation, he said, "It shows you always have to be on and that you shouldn't give people a reason to write something about you or have an opinion. I have also given my own twist to it. People care about me. Many want me to do better. It is like they all want to see the Ricciardo that can win races again, so it is not all negative." Ricciardo is still eager and motivated to win races and still very much enjoys Formula One, as he said in a different interview last week. He is also aware that his driving style doesn't suit the McLaren and that he has difficulty changing his driving style to make the car work. This realization and sudden available F1 seats for next year led Ricciardo to start negotiations to end his contract by the end of the season. But what does Ricciardo demand from McLaren? Why doesn't Ricciardo's driving style suit the McLaren, and what other F1 driving options does he have? Let's find out. It was Ricciardo's dream to help McLaren back to the top after he joined the legendary formation in 2021. Alongside Norris, the Papaya Orange cars were in a fierce battle with Ferrari for the third constructor's place in 2021. Although they lost out eventually, McLaren, by the hand of Ricciardo, did manage to score their first race win since 2012. This was a much-needed race win for Ricciardo as he was already under pressure because of the lack of results. All hopes were up for this season, but unfortunately the 2022 McLaren car still has the same driving characteristics as its predecessor, although the F1 has seen the biggest change in car regulations in 40 years. The McLaren MCL36 performs exceptionally well in high-speed corners, just like last year's MCL35M, but it lacks performance in the slow and medium-speed corners. Ricciardo continues by saying that some things he had difficulty with last year came back into this year's car. "We do understand better and better how the car works, but it is difficult to explain what the real problem is. Is it aerodynamics? Is it geometry? Do you understand what I mean? We do learn more about it, and Lando complains about the same issues. He just got used to it," says Ricciardo. The issues are confirmed by Norris, who explained to Motorsport.com that the current car doesn't match his driving style at all. He said that it isn't a bad car, it just doesn't match his driving style, but he learned how to adapt himself. "My capability to adapt is the only reason I was able to perform reasonably so far," Norris said. The big difference between Norris and Ricciardo led McLaren to approach Piastri for an F1 seat. However, before they can get Piastri into the McLaren next year, they first have to get rid of Daniel, and as mentioned before, his watertight contract makes this difficult. So what demands did Ricciardo's management make in order to give up his seat next year? Australian resources said that Daniel's management proposed a buyout sum of $21 million. This is equal to Ricciardo's one-year salary of $15 million plus an additional $6 million. McLaren hasn't responded yet, but the $21 million is expected to be lowered depending on several factors. Insiders said that McLaren tries to find a different seat for Ricciardo so they can offer him a soft landing, as they call it in F1. By finding him an F1 seat at another team, they can use that in the negotiations to lower the buyout sum. But if Ricciardo had so much difficulty bringing in results the last 2 years, why would another team hire him in the first place? To answer this question, we have to analyze Daniel's driving style alongside the characteristics of the 2022 McLaren and the other F1 cars. Key to Daniel's driving style is having a stable car in the corners. Former Red Bull performance engineer Blake said that Verstappen didn't mind a moving car when entering a corner, whereas Ricciardo heavily prefers a stable car. Front grip is crucial to help rotate the car and provide the grip levels needed for his driving style. Because he brakes earlier, the car leans forward less when entering a corner, and therefore there is less pressure to push the tires into the track, which normally would increase grip levels. The 2022 cars rely heavily on the Venturi effect of the floor to generate downforce. The floor generates as much as 2/3 of the total downforce. The Venturi effect works exceptionally well in high-speed corners as the speed of the airflow is increased. But the downside is that the new regulations affect the stability of the front and rear end of the car in slow and medium-speed corners. Since there is less downforce at the front and rear, the car is more likely to move in a corner, which is something Daniel doesn't like. Between 2014 and 2018, he drove one of the aerodynamically best cars on the grid. The Red Bull provided good front rotation and was extremely stable in the corners. Unfortunately, the lack of engine power caused them to miss out on much lap time on the straights. Unique to Daniel's driving style was his braking. He is most famous for his extremely late braking, but that was only when he wanted to overtake someone. In fact, when he wasn't overtaking anyone, he would brake earlier than most other drivers, keeping the car flatter, which would increase car stability and resulted in higher mid-corner speeds. But when we analyze the onboard cameras from the 2022 season, we can see that Ricciardo has difficulty rotating the front of the car. As a result, he would often understeer, miss the apex, and has to wait going on the throttle. This makes him miss out on valuable lap time. The biggest difference between him and Norris, looking at the telemetry of this season, happens in the slow-speed corners. Norris brakes later, increases the front load, and therefore pressure on his tires, which helps him rotate the car better. Whereas the Red Bull saw a strong front rotation and looser rear, the McLaren performs opposite and sees a looser front and more stable rear. Because Daniel brakes earlier than most drivers, there is less front load on the tires, which makes natural front grip of the car even more important. When cars like the McLaren have less front grip, it becomes more important to brake later to increase front load and increase tire grip. Due to a lack of trust in the car and problems with the brakes, Ricciardo hasn't been able to adapt to the McLaren car. It will be crucial for Ricciardo to find a car that works in accordance with his driving style. So what options does Ricciardo have for 2023? He is currently frequently linked to Alpine. It is known that Alpine works hard to improve the front grip of the car, something that Red Bull has been working on as well after Verstappen complained about a lack of front grip at the beginning of the season. Alpine could be an ideal choice for Ricciardo as his driving style would be more in unison with the characteristics of the car. Safnauer recently said that there are 4 drivers still on the list to take Alonso's seat next year, and one of them is likely to be Ricciardo. Other teams who have drivers which are under pressure are Latifi at Williams, Schumacher at Haas, and Tsunoda at AlphaTauri. Günther Steiner already said that they will wait with any contract negotiations till after the summer break. According to RTL Germany, Haas will wait as it is likely to be mix-only option and they are not sure if they want to continue with the German driver. Latifi has been under pressure for a while now, and although he does make little progress, Williams is also aware that it is unlikely that Latifi will lead the team to success. Tsunoda still makes rookie mistakes. In both Canada and Silverstone, he made crucial mistakes that cost not only himself but also Red Bull points. Helmut Marko has frequently said that Tsunoda needs to improve himself, and since this is his second year in F1, he expects more of him. Out of the 4 seats, Alpine does offer the best performing car, and since Ricciardo's driving style is more in line with the Alpine car, it would be a good option to try to secure that spot. However, that means that McLaren first have to agree to Ricciardo's proposal and then win the legal fight over Oscar Piastri. Do you think Ricciardo should settle for less than $21 million, or do you think he should stay at McLaren nonetheless? Let me know in the comments section below.